all right, he's emotionally unavailable. All right, now this is an interesting one. This, once you start re-assimilating the code, right, then you can start to understand female language, right? So this is one that I want to just, magnify into. All right, now you hear women say this sometimes. You hear this, and even if they say it in different myriad of ways, right? But basically what it means is, what they say is, he's emotionally unavailable, right? Okay, right. This is what men need to understand about women. They have a different language, and what they say, it means something else. Okay, so men are getting very, very confused, and it's a topic that needs to be really looked at, because, like I said, there's men hanging themselves around the world from trees because of this nonsense. Women are like children, dude. They don't care. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. They say, poor me. Fuck these women when they're like that. Don't feel sorry for any of their victim bullshit. None of their victim bullshit. Okay, it's very, very important as men not to fall for the emotional manipulation, manipulation of women. Okay. Now, I'm sure men do it on women as well. There's some men out there, the high tier men, that don't give a fuck in loads of ways, because they have loads of women to choose from. As women who do no work on themselves, men have to do a lot of work on themselves to have a variety of women to choose from, right? Women have to do nothing other than get out of bed, take a shower, and walk out the door. And they have access to pretty much all the men, apart from the ones that they're always complaining about, which is the top 2, 3, 4% of men, which they can't get. Even if they do, they're not going to put up with any of their bullshit, because they have 6 or 7, 8, 9 of them waiting exactly the same as them, all right? Because it's all nonsense about, get to know me. I know female nature, dude. I don't need to get to know you. All right? This is another pile of shit that people have been brainwashed with. Oh, I want to get to know you. I want to get... Why? Why? I know female nature. I don't need to get to know you. All right? It's like an assembly of mannequins on a rack, right? And you pick one off, right? It's the same thing. It may vary a tiny bit from woman to woman, just say, for instance, but the hard drive, the software is the same. So he's emotionally unavailable. Now, we'll interpret that in man language, all right? What it means is, I can't manipulate him. I can't emotionally control him. I can't change him, because that's what women do. They're like Venus flytraps, all right? And then men go in there going, oh, and they go in. And then when they're trapped and they change the man, then they don't want the man anymore. Then they go on to the next one. Men better listen up, dude. What I just said there could change everything for men. Could change everything. You think that these women are all innocent and all the rest of it, and they don't care for you. No, they're on a different program than us, and we need to decipher the program correctly. So, especially young men. All right, I'm not that young anymore, so I wasted a lot of my time not knowing all this shit because of various things in society, mother, all the rest of the nonsense, right? All the nonsense. They're trying to always feed you their program all the time, and the controllers, the small group of people, which you should know who they are. I'm not going to name them here on YouTube. They have taken on this model because it makes everything feminized and it's outweighed on one side. Okay, so masculinity has been attacked. Toxic masculinity. There's toxic femininity, because that's what they're pushing, right? We don't, feminism is toxic femininity. But they invert everything and they try and make it sound the other way. Like, men are this way. I'm sure that there's some men that are not very good, right? Of course there's not, all right? But they've inverted everything to confuse everyone with everything. So that's what that means, right? When a woman says to you, oh, you're emotionally unavailable to me, and the man should think to himself, good, maybe you'll stick around a bit longer. Maybe you'll have more respect for me. Maybe you won't make the house into an absolute hellhole because of your emotions that you want me to go into with you, but I'm going to stay in logic. Thanks very much. I don't need to debate with you. I don't need to talk to you. Okay? I don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. And this comes from a man, by the way, that was worse than anybody else when it came to being a simp and bowing down to female nature. All right? So there is a way out of it. You're going to have to go through a lot of pain, though, in a lot of ways, and a lot of kind of like delusion and going to walls and going like, where do I go from here? You know? And I don't like to see that happening to men. I don't like to see women doing that to men. I don't like to see any of that kind of stuff at all. I don't like to see it at all. So that's the language, right? That's one of them. That's one of the languages that they're using. Okay, you're emotionally unavailable. That's a beauty. That's a fucking beauty, dude. And men are kind of like, okay, I'll be emotionally open for you. I'll buy you flowers. I'll validate you every day. I'll tell you how great you are. And the minute you do that, she's on the phone to somebody else, some male friend, right? Some male friend, okay? He's just a friend, or some orbiter sniffing around like a fucking vulture, you know, waiting for the girl to get bored of one guy, and then the next guy comes in, he's sniffing like a fucking vulture, going like, oh, she's just a friend of mine. And the minute that she opens up a tiny bit, he jumps on her like a fucking hyena. All right? And women know this, dude. They know what's fucking going on. They're as dumb as fucking horses in some way, right? But they all know that they want to be fucked by everyone. Don't fall for this innocent woman bullshit. All right? Don't fall for it at all. They're more dangerous than men. So that's a beauty, that one. That's a real beauty, that one. I love that one, you know, when you decipher that one, emotionally unavailable. Yeah, you want to be emotionally unavailable as a man. Of course you do. You want to be completely emotionally unavailable to any woman. Okay? Because that's the game. That's the game. They want a man that's emotionally unavailable. And then they say, oh, I've had such trouble with this guy. Yeah, you want trouble with the guy. You want trouble with the guy, because if you don't have trouble with the guy and he does everything that you want, you're out the door. And you wouldn't give a flying fuck about him if he's hanging from a tree. You'll just go like, oh, yeah, whatever, dude. That's his problem. All right? So men need to understand what's going on with female nature and what society is doing and programming us with and putting us in a state of confusion. And men are suffering all over the world because of this nonsense. Don't listen to women. Don't listen to what they want, okay? Have nothing to do with them in some ways. In some ways, have nothing to do with them. Why would you want something to do with them? So they can torture you to fucking death, and then you can get emotionally invested in them. I said something in a talk a few months ago about monogamy, right? Now, I kind of changed my mind a tiny bit on it, and that's good to do that. Monogamy actually is a good idea, especially when there's families involved. All right, if there's children involved, it's a good idea. It is a good idea because, you know, I think it's more natural for women, as far as I can tell. You know, especially when there's families there and stuff like that. You know, I think during war times and stuff like that, then it was more prevalent for men to spread their seed somewhere else because to replenish and stuff like that. But monogamy is not really a bad idea because it confuses children if men and women are just doing what they want. All right, so I go back on that. That's incorrect in loads of ways. As far as I can tell right now, monogamy is not a bad idea. All right, and to do with kind of like women doing what they want. If they like, it's up to men if they want to choose. Like if what I really mean about, because sometimes I get heated about stuff as well. What I really mean is that like men and women, men shouldn't really care what women do. If they're gonna fuck someone else or they're gonna do something like that, you have to protect yourself as a man and don't be emotionally involved with them because it can hurt you very, very much. And a pain that can be so bad it can push you towards hanging yourself on a tree, right? So what is important is kind of like that you shouldn't care if she's doing that. But if she is doing that, I don't think that you should stay with her, personally. Because if she's fucking around with you in any way and doing anything like that, you shouldn't care or get emotionally invested in them. But if they are fucking around and doing stuff like that and you don't like it, which is natural as well, and it's not for you, you should just walk away from them. You know what I mean? So kind of like, sometimes I ain't getting some things kind of, not wrong, but I have to word them in a different way, even for myself, and go like, yeah, that's, you know, let women do what they want. If they want to be going around fucking everyone else and doing everything they want and dressing like tarts, saying that, at the same time saying, don't objectify me, yet they're going around acting like these prostitutes and dressing like idiots and just doing what they want, then I personally think you should let them do what they want, but at the same time, you do what you want, which is you walk away from them. and just say, look, I'm not getting into a debate with you. I'm not interested in women that go on like that. So I wish you well with what you're choosing, and take care. You know what I mean? So that makes way more sense to me. And when it comes to monogamy and stuff like that, if you've got children and stuff like that, you're better off not confusing all the rest of it, and kind of like, you know, and staying with your partner and stuff like that. I haven't been very good with all that kind of stuff, to be honest. You know, I've been weak in that area. And, you know, but it is a good idea. All right, so emotionally unavailable means I can't manipulate you. You're hard to manipulate, which will keep her interested in you. The minute you break for a woman and start being controlled by the woman, the minute that she's not interested in you anymore, she's on to the next thing, or she's probably more than likely screwing other people anyway, having sex with other people, and especially modern women. You know, they have all these men on their phones. They have so much men circling around them all the time that they just go like, okay, this guy's waiting here, this guy's waiting over there, you know, this guy's doing what I want now, it's boring, you know, and I can have a bit of entertainment now seeing him in pain running after me. Leave these women immediately. Leave these women immediately. The minute they start fucking around with you, men, for your own mental health, your own emotional health, and your own dignity and respect, the minute they start fucking around with you, leave them immediately. Okay? That's what you need to do. That's where your strength comes as a man. Your strength comes from a man, that the minute the woman starts, you don't try and control. Women need to be controlled, by the way. Okay? That's why Western civilization is crumbling as we speak. Oh yeah, let everyone in. That's a woman's thing. That's a woman's thing. Oh yeah, feel sorry for everyone except the man that you're with, right? Okay. Right, so women need to be controlled. You can see the effects in Western civilization right now with the controllers, what they're doing. Women get the right to vote. They can do this. They have equal this. They have no. That's what's taking down the whole society. Women need to be controlled. And you don't control them directly. You see, this is the point I want to get across with this, because we get very confused about it. You don't control women. You start seeing that you have no control over yourself as a man. It's because we have no control of ourselves as men that women are not being controlled. You don't try and control women. You walk the fuck away. You walk the fuck away from them. That's how you control women, and then they'll come correct if they need to. If they see that, yeah, I need to be controlled by a man, but controls himself properly, and he just walks away. That's how you do it. Women are in for a rough ride over the next while, because men are waking up everywhere to this scam of female nature and what they're doing and all the nonsense. Woman is the most privileged creature that ever walked on this planet at the moment. At the moment, the tide is turning. Men are starting to see that, wait a second, I'm going to give up my life to run around after some woman? Not going to happen. All right, so the tide is turning, and women, you've never been more privileged in your life, and that's all going to be taken away from you, by the way. All going to be taken away from you. Now, look, you can have a couple of, all the orbiters and the simps and the guys that'll just do what you want, but they're not really the men that women want, though, by the way, as well. Okay, they're not really they like the control of all that and all the rest of that stuff, right? But they're not really the men that they want. They want men that they can't control. Okay, they're the ones they think about. They're the ones that they're really interested in. All right, so women are going to have it very hard, and when men start waking up to it and going like, well, I want nothing to do with you anymore because you're incorrect, and you walk away. Very, very important. So, just to leave it on that thought, when a woman says anything like, you're emotionally unavailable, that means I can't manipulate you. You're too strong for me to manipulate with my female emotional bullshit. That's what it means. Okay? So, when you bow down, when the woman does that, and you start opening up emotionally, right? She knows she has you. She knows she has you. All right? And then you start doing things for her. Flowers, being there. How are you, my love? How are you? Can I do anything for you? We'll go to that restaurant, love, no problem. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll go on holiday. Yeah, you're a single mother? I'll take care of another man's beans for you. That's no problem. I'll be emotionally available to take care of another man's beans. No problem. Flowers? No problem. Yeah, you want me to take care of this and clean the house and get the food and, and make food for you and do everything. Like I said, go to this restaurant. It's expensive, right? But you're worth it. The minute you're emotionally available, you're manipulated, and she's on the phone to somebody else who is not emotionally unavailable, who's not emotionally available, sorry. And she's there going like, oh, this guy's intriguing. This guy's mysterious. I'll see if I can change him. Like I said, they're like Venus flytraps. And the minute that you succumb to them, they have you and then they get rid of you. Wake the fuck up to female nature. I don't want to see men hanging themselves and going through incredible suffering and pain because of these women that are maybe just doing what they're even programmed to do through the program. But still, at the end of the day, there's a lot of pain that men experience because of it. Okay? Wake up to these women. I yield.